So the US Senate has voted to proceed with the second impeachment trial of Donald Trump, rejecting the defence argument that it's unconstitutional to try a former president. Let's start with Alan Fisher on Capitol Hill, where he tells us what to expect in the coming days.
In a place that has seen a lot of it, this truly was an historic day, the second impeachment trial of Donald Trump. Before the Senate can even begin to question whether or not he was guilty of high crimes and misdemeanors, whether he sent a crowd towards Capitol Hill for a violent insurrection aimed at overturning the results of a democratic election, there's the question of whether or not it was constitutional to put him on trial. The Democrats said absolutely, he had to be held responsible for what he did in those final days in office. His defence team argued that he's no longer in office, and so it's too late.
Our case is based on cold, hard facts. People died that day. Officers ended up with head damage and brain damage. People's eyes were gouged. An officer had a heart attack. An officer lost 3 fingers that day. 2 officers have taken their own lives. Senators, this cannot be our future. This cannot be the future of America. We cannot have presidents inciting and mobilizing mob violence against our government and our institutions because they refuse to accept the will of the people under the Constitution of the United States.
It was also an unforgivable betrayal of the oath of office of President Trump, the oath he swore, an oath that he sullied and dishonored to advance his own personal interests.
Donald Trump's defence team said that what happened on Capitol Hill on January the 6th was horrendous, but also putting him on trial was unconstitutional. This, they argued, was simply the Democrats carrying out a partisan political hit job on a man they didn't want to see run for office again, forgetting that 10 Republicans had also voted for the impeachment of Donald Trump.
You will not hear any member of the team representing former President Trump say anything but in the strongest possible way denounce the violence of the rioters and those that breached the Capitol, the very citadel of our democracy. We can't possibly be suggesting that we punish people for political speech in this country.
With this trial, you will open up new and bigger wounds across the nation. For a great many Americans see this process for exactly what it is: a chance by a group of partisan politicians seeking to eliminate Donald Trump from the American political scene.
The Senate has now voted to push ahead with the hearing. It will begin on Wednesday. One Republican senator was asked why he voted to make sure that the hearing would go ahead. He said that the House team, led by Jamie Raskin, was much more focused and answered the questions that were in front of them, whereas Donald Trump's team was much more unfocused, almost as if they were trying to avoid the central question of whether or not he was responsible for the violence that was seen here on Capitol Hill. What is clear is that Donald Trump's team will have to be a lot more focused as they move in to the important part of the impeachment proceedings. Will Donald Trump be convicted? It's still a long shot, but his legal team will have to perform much better than they did on day one.